Okay, as you can see, we finished second this year, and we are hoping that we may be able to go one better in 2019. For those of you who don't know who I am, I'm Kath Geraghty. I'm the AIC Swimming Coordinator. I also teach grade 5 here at the school, and this is the end of my third year teaching here. But I've also been a parent here for coming to the end of 14 years this year, so I'm fairly well acquainted with the school. To my left here is James Boyce, our head coach. James is coming to the end of his second year here, a former swimmer himself, and he has brought a wealth of knowledge, a wealth of experience, and terrific camaraderie with the boys since he's been here. Our assistant coach is Damien Bromley, an old boy of the school. Damien's currently studying to be a primary teacher. So the boys are well placed with James and Damien in the coaching roles. Details to contact any of us, any of the three of us, will be in the swimming handbook, which should be ready to be emailed to you early next week. I'm still working on updating a few details in there. The other staff we have working with us are all on the teaching staff. I won't bore you by reading through the names, you can read, but you can see they're a combination of primary teachers, some high school teachers, and school officer. That's it for term 4. Term 1 may change slightly, and we'll let you know about that when the term begins. As far as going through tonight, if you have any questions at any time and you want to interrupt me, just please raise your hand and we'll answer them as we go. It's probably best to ask them as we go in case you forget when we get to the end. For those who are new to the school, a lot of people don't realise what AIC swimming is, and AIC simply stands for Association of Independent Schools. 8 schools are members, they're all listed there. They're all Catholic schools except for the last one, St Peter's, which is a Lutheran school over at Indooroopilly. We have a long-standing rivalry with St Lawrence's across all sports that we play. But with the swimming, St Peter's is our nemesis, and Iona has been a huge improver over the last few years. With the AIC Swimming Championships, for those who don't know how it's structured, the championships are held in early March each year. It's the first of the inter-school competitions to be decided, and as it says there in a nutshell, the boys train for 2 terms over the Christmas holidays, all for one competition on one day. And it sounds like so much effort for just one thing. It's not game after game after game as you get in cricket and rugby and soccer. We train for that one competition. We get 4 lead-up meets to it, which we call AIC prep meets. But it's the big one at Chandler in early March that determines the championship school. And we do have a long and proud history. Up to 2011, we won it 8 years in a row. 2012, we lost. 2013, we won. 2014, we lost. 2015, we won. 2016, we won. 17 and 18, we lost. I won't get too political as to why we lost, but some schools have a lot of money to spend, let's just put it that way.
Who won?
St Peter's. You could almost choose an Olympic team sometimes, some years, from the St Peter's team. Yeah, they do have a lot of money to throw at their swimming program. Having said that though, from a personal experience, I've got 4 boys who've come through this school. They've all swum since grade 5. None of them were champion swimmers. Some were scratching to get a swim at the AIC Championships. They made the team each year because they'd done the required number of sessions and have the times on the board, but they got just reserve swims. But they came back year after year after year and wanted to go on to year 12. And what I've said to people many times over the years is that they get far more out of our program than just the swimming itself. So kids who turn up to the pool at 6 o'clock every morning and train together, and they're back there again in the afternoon to train together, and they do it again all through the Christmas holidays. They build up such a rapport with each other, that whole notion of comradeship. My boys loved it, and I'm very grateful to what the swimming program gave them. It forced them to be organised. you have to have your bag packed the night before. You can't get up at 5 o'clock or 5:30 and expect to go and get all your gear together and get to training on time. So it really instilled in them a lot of discipline, and they just love the atmosphere of being at the pool. So as you can see, you know, we haven't won for a couple of years, but the spirit is still there. And do you want to add anything to that, James? No. But no, as a parent of 4 kids who've been through the whole program from grade 5 to grade 12, you know, they will still, they're now aged from 17 to 23, they will sit down on a Sunday afternoon and drag out the videos of the swimming back to 2007 and sit there and watch them all over again. Videos of races, relays where we've come from behind in a nail-biting finish to win, and they still talk about it. And as a parent, I love sitting back and watching that. I think that's something money can't buy. The squad allocation, we have this often a bit of confusion with how the squads are organised. Because we have MCA swimming on one hand and AIC swimming on the other, even though they're 2 separate entities, they do cross over and overlap almost, I'd say 90%. The club runs all year, and the 3 bottom squads you can see up there, the intermediate, development and senior squads, are club squads. We have 3 squads below those, Makos, Marlins and Barracudas. For boys going into AIC swimming, or boys coming here to the school, there may be a few boys in those younger squads. So those club squads run all year. When we get to term 4 and the AIC season starts, so term 4 and term 1 are the AIC season, most boys who come down to the pool to start off in term 4 will go into either the junior AIC squad or the senior squad. Boys who've been training through winter will have been allocated into one of the club squads, and they stay with that squad. And at James's discretion, he'll move boys up and down through those squads as he sees fit, where he thinks they are best suited. And he'll do that in consultation with parents, because the training times are slightly different. And I think that's where most of the confusion for new parents comes in, when they're not quite sure how these squads work. So even though they are club squads, during term 4 and term 1, most of the boys in those squads are AIC swimmers. So any boy who comes here to Marist and who wants to try for selection in the AIC team, no matter what squad he's in, he's considered an AIC swimmer. Any questions on that one? Great. I'll move on. An important note that the college policy is that boys will make school sport their priority. And so they need to be committed to their swimming training and the competition meets. Having said that, though, we're very aware of boys who are committed across a range of sports. For example, next week is the AIC Athletics Championships. So the boys who are swimmers who are also involved in athletics at the moment haven't even been down to the pool, because their priority is athletics. Once that's finished, they'll start to come down to the pool. So as the terms roll on, various sports get to their apex point and they take priority. It'll happen again in, just trying to think. Oh, yeah, well, in March, swimming, as the AIC Championships gets closer, swimming will take priority. So boys who are involved in cricket and volleyball may have to drop back a bit from those sports in order to give swimming their full attention. So it is a bit of a juggling act, one that's helped by just open communication. So if at any time anyone is struggling to balance all that, you just need to come and have a chat to James or to myself, and we can always find a solution. Okay, some important dates. For those new to the program, we run 2 camps, a junior camp for those in year 5 and 6, and a senior camp for those in grades 7 to 12. The junior camp is just an overnighter, and it's held here at the school. The boys stay in the grade 12 boarding dorms. They usually love that. So that's for boys who are in grade 5 and 6 in 2019. So boys who are currently in grade 6 and will be in grade 7 next year, they go to the senior camp. And that's being held down at Tallebudgera this year. And for those who are used to our program, you might notice that those camp dates are a little bit earlier than normal. The normal weekend we would take the senior camp away. This year is the Australia Day long weekend. We know lots of families do things on that weekend, so we've brought the camp a week earlier for that. This will all be in the handbook, so rest assured you'll get these dates well and truly. So the camps are being held in the 1 week. The juniors are on the Monday and Tuesday. We rest on Wednesday, and the seniors go on camp Thursday, Friday, Saturday. The prep meets. The first one, 8th of February, here at school. On the 15th of Feb, we'll go to the Centenary Pool at Spring Hill. 21st of February, we'll be at Chandler, which is a first. We haven't had what I used to call Friday night meets. But that's on a Thursday. So we haven't had one at Chandler before, so that'll be really good because that's the pool where we have the actual championships. And the last one on the 1st of March will double as our school age championships. Do you want to say something?
That could change. That is what the first draft, but that's probably what it's going to be like. For the first, at this stage that's what it is, but it could change again. But as soon as we know, we'll let you have all the information.
Yep. For those who have been in the program already, you'll know that I send an email every week with a newsletter called What's On at the Pool this week. I try to keep it to one page, and it's just Monday, this is on, Tuesday, this is on. I usually put the training times in there as well, although there's so many of those, they tend to take up the whole page. So I may ditch the training times in busy weeks just to tell you other things that are on. So hopefully you'll never be out of the loop communication-wise. I email that newsletter to you. I also put it on the college app. I email it to the boys as well. So any boys sitting here, you will have emails from me in your inbox already. So hopefully we pride ourselves on our communication, so hopefully you won't ever be left wondering what on earth is going on. And if you are, please let me know. Any questions about those dates? Yes?
Sorry. What time of the day do those prep meets start?
Okay, the question is what time of the day would they start? They generally start around 4 o'clock in the afternoon. We go straight from school. We usually take buses to the away carnivals, so you don't have to get here to school to pick up your son to take him. So we take buses. You're most welcome to come to the pool to watch and take your son home. Although as they get older, they tend to like to come back to school on the team bus as the war cries are going on the bus all the way home. 4 o'clock they start, and they're usually wrapped up. It depends on how many schools are competing on the night, because in these meets we won't have every AIC school there. Because, for example, on the first one, St Peter's will also be hosting one that night as well. So some schools will come to us, some will go to St Peter's. And some schools like to keep themselves very unknown to everybody until the actual championship. We're usually done by 6:30, even 6 o'clock sometimes. So it's a fairly short night.
I would expect the Chandler meet to be done a bit later though. Just because
We'll probably have every school
every
at that
school will
one.
be there, and there's 10 lanes. I would expect us to have 2 lanes, and there'll be another school that have 2 lanes. We are the biggest school that goes to ARC. Like every other school might take 80 kids, sometimes 60. We take 100. So we'll have probably 2 or 3 lanes that night to get through quickly, and then the Centenary one we usually get 2 lanes as well.
And generally, I can put messages on the college app. When we leave Centenary Pool and leave Chandler, I usually put something on the app so you'll get notification that buses are just leaving, we should be back in such and such a time. Or your boys can text you. Okay. This is the swimming calendar. Well, it's too much to take in tonight. I just thought I'd show you what it looks like. That will be in the handbook like that. I also transfer those dates onto a more visual calendar where you see the whole month. That's how I like it for myself. I like to see the whole picture. So there's a fair bit going on, but that will be in the handbook. And I may even email that separately to you, so you can just print that out if you want to. They are subject to change a little bit, but at the time of print that will be correct. But some things may change So for example, at the moment, water polo is happening on a Wednesday afternoon for the next couple of weeks, so some training times have changed, but that weekly newsletter I send out, I'll always keep you up to date with what's happening there. Dates of the the Christmas break.
There's a Friday the 2nd of November. There won't be any swimming for the Year 5 and 6 AIC group, and there won't be any swimming for guys in intermediate, development and senior, because they've got a music soiree and they usually have about 400 or 500 boys down the pool, and it just gets too messy with all of us, and it's not fair to have us there and the music soiree there to there'd be over 700 boys down there. It's just too much.
So the soiree is an annual event for the music department held up in the gym, and the boys stay here after school until that begins. It starts at about 6 o'clock at night. So it's like their fun night. They go down to the pool and have a good muck around. So we vacate the pool for them. You see we have a break over Christmas. Training starts back on the 2nd of January. Then the camps, Australia Day holiday, but we still train. School starts and then we're right into the business end of the season with those Thursday and Friday night meets. And if the boys make the team, we have a last supper, which is actually a lunch. That's the day before the AIC Championships. And the night of the Championships, we're all back in here for a presentation evening.
It's a busy time of the year, right? So how many of those sessions the kids need to attend if they want to make it?
Okay, the question is how many of those sessions do the boys need to attend if they want to make the team? There's a slide coming up about that in just a second. Any other questions about the calendar?
Yes, Joshua?
Are you doing that thing on the big holidays where it's like a week of training during the middle of the day?
Right, Josh's question is, are we doing that thing? Where are you talking about the mini camp, Josh?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll let James answer that one.
Yes, we will be. So last year we ran a mini camp that ran for a week. It was mainly for the Year 7s to 12s. But on the last day we got the Year 5s and 6s in. Now this year, Queensland State titles fall on that week. So there is a plan to have it, but it'll be the week before school goes back.
Okay.
Excuse me.
Yep.
So the AIC meets, there's no short course, is it?
It's all 50 metres, yeah.
Yeah, no short course. Okay, no more questions on that one?
That mini camp won't be up there on the calendar because I just haven't decided on whether it's going to be in that week, but at this stage, most likely.
Okay, now strap yourselves in for this one. This can get a little detailed and not really complicated, but you really have to have your head around where your son fits in. So in order to make the team, we ask that the boys do a minimum number of training sessions. They also are required to swim in those pre-meets, those 4 the Thursday and Friday night meets. If there's a reason why he can't swim in one of them, he may be sick, that things do crop up, you just need to come and have a chat with us. And that's happened in the past and that's been fine. But if someone thinks, I'll just do one of those meets, then generally he wouldn't be considered for selection in the team, because this is showing their commitment. And it's at these meets that they swim times that we record, and that's what we use to select the team as to who gets the swims. We want to pick our fastest team. We want to win. As well as building a great team spirit and everything, at the end of the day, we want to win. So we will pick our best team. So boys coming into Year 5 for next year, they're required to have completed 18 training sessions from the 2nd of January. So even if they've been training through term 4, the count for their sessions actually starts next term, in term 1.
That doesn't mean don't turn up until the 2nd of January though. You still need to turn up.
The reason for that is some people think, oh right, I'll do all those sessions in term 4, then I'll have a big rest and then I'm eligible for selection. For those who know the swimming world, that doesn't work that way. If you have a big layoff, you may as well have not trained at all. You really need to keep it up. In order to make these number of sessions, the boys will have to commit to some Christmas holiday training. They'll be struggling to make that number of sessions if they don't come training over Christmas. Year 6 boys, it's 30 sessions, and there are 61 sessions offered to them. So we ask that they do at least 30, which is 48% of those sessions offered, and that's from the 8th of October, which was last week when we started. Year 7 swimmers who are new to Marist next year, that we require from them 25 sessions in term 1. So for boys who are currently at Marist going into grade 7, where if they are 12 years next year, we would often call these under 12, but that gets people confused. So we're just calling it 12 years. That means they're turning 12 next year. We want 50 out of the 105 available sessions. For those in the 13 years age group, we want 50 again. 14 years to open. They can mix it up with gym sessions and swimming sessions. So there are 36 gym sessions open to them. Now that's up in our school gym. They can count 20 of those sessions towards their total sessions for team selection, and they can have 45 swimming sessions. So altogether we're looking for 65 out of the available 147 sessions. So all those age groups already mentioned are based on the age your son turns, or boys, the age you turn next year. So 12 years means you turn 12 next year. 14 years, you turn 14 next year. Grade 5 and 6 don't operate on age groups. They operate on year levels. So it doesn't matter what year you were born. If you're in grade 5, you swim with year 5. If you're in grade 6, you swim with year 6. Once you get to grade 7 though, you're either 12 years or 13 years, depending on what age you turn next year. At the AIC Championships, they actually run 2 competitions. The big shield for the end is only grades 7 to 12, and they have a junior shield as well, which is the grade 5 and 6. And we did very well in that one last year. So, yeah. That's what I meant. Yes, we did win that one last year, so we've got a terrific junior swimmers coming through. So on the day, we actually are competing sort of in 2 competitions. Yes?
If boys are swimming for clubs outside of NCA, and you're requesting the grade 5s to swim 8
Yeah.
sessions a week, is there a dispensation for all their swimming training with the club they're currently in?
Yeah, the question was for those who are swimming outside of our club, so with other clubs and other coaches, do they get dispensation for those sessions? There is a slide coming up about that. There is a logbook that we would like them to keep and get their coach to sign off on it. And I have a sample of that logbook page to show you when we get to that. Yes? No, not at this stage. So the gym sessions I mentioned are optional. Yes, sorry?
Also, just one same that same slide there. From the 2nd of January, you said, to what date do you have to have those sessions?
I usually, if they're maybe a couple short and I know that they're going to attend all the way up until the 11th of March, I'll take that into consideration. But usually what happens is they either hit the target or they fall well short. So if they're not going to hit the how many I want, well then that doesn't meet our selection criteria. And then if they're probably 54 out of the 60, and I know that they're going to come 6 times the week of ASC, I'll still take that.
I was trying to get the calendar back up there, but I won't fiddle around with that. The night of our age championships, which is the number 4 AIC prep meet, we would like the external training logs to be handed in on that night. That's on a Friday night. It's over that weekend then that James and I and Damien sit down in that pool office and select the team. So really they need to have made those sessions.
1st of March, I think the date is.
Yeah, 1st of March. I'll get to this later in the slides, but I'll mention it now. I take a roll. After every training session, the boys get ticked off on a roll, and it's their responsibility to make sure that I've ticked their name off or that James has written their name down. When I get to school each morning, I come through the pool area, I stop and I go in and I take the roll in there. I enter that on a spreadsheet. Each Friday, I print off each age group with the previous week's attendance on it, on a sheet, and they're all on display down at the pool. There's a totals column as well, so they can see immediately how many sessions they have attended. They have a week if they want to come and challenge what I've recorded there. They might say, Miss, I came last Wednesday, you don't have it up there. Anyway, we'll have a chat about that and amend it if it needs amending. So I'm encouraging the boys to keep a check on that window where they're all displayed so they can see how many sessions they've done. So if we're getting to only a few weeks out from AIC and they're lacking in the number of sessions they need, then they may have to pick up the pace and come more often. So hopefully, being very transparent with their sessions like that, they'll have a good idea of how things are going. Yes?
So are you still tracking the boys that are new to the school next year but are training already? Are they getting their
Yes,
names still?
definitely.
So they'll still have a tally?
Yeah, and that's how I'm generating my email list. So if I haven't got anybody on that roll, that means their parents aren't getting any emails from me. So it's a long process. I've got over 600 names on that email list, including the boys. But that's my major job right now, is to keep that up to date so that I'm not missing anyone. So if you know of anybody who says, I'm not getting any swimming emails, and I should be, please let me know, because I hate people being kept in the dark.
But just a question, is the email referring to the tracking of how many sessions they are doing, or just a general email?
Sorry, could you repeat that?
Because I'm not getting any of the tracking, how many sessions my son has attended.
You won't get that email.
Until
The tracking of the sessions will be where my office is down at the pool, the next window across from that.
Yeah, I actually print them out and put them up on display for the boys to see.
Yeah, no one gets sent the tally.
Could you talk a little bit about the gym sessions, the type of guidance the boys get in that sense?
So the school's just gone in a new path and they've employed a full-time strength and conditioning coach. Now, Henry and I sit down, it'd be nearly every 6 weeks, and we map out a new program just to try and focus on where we're at with our swimming prep. Now, I've said under 14s to opens. I don't really like younger kids doing gym in a degree. If the young kids are doing bodyweight exercises, sit-ups, push-ups, a couple of chin-ups, that's fine. I'm happy to do that. But with the older boys, I think they need to be fully developed to start doing gym or start maturing. So Henry and I work out a plan that there are some athletes that will work harder than others in the gym, and that's why we've tried to split it up. If you see there, as of next week, the 7s to 9s will be earlier, and then the 10s to 12s will be a bit later.
Although they do swap over. If you see on a Tuesday, the younger boys go from 6:15 to 7:15, and the older boys go from 7:05 to 8:05. Then on Thursday that flips around. The older boys go first, and the younger boys go second.
I will say that there are some boys that are maybe in year 7 that I won't let do gym yet. And there's a few grade 9 boys that are about to start up next week. Hey Josh.
Does that answer that for you? Great. Any other questions? I'll just go back a couple of slides here. Just going down to the primary camp. The boys who come on the primary camp, that will count for 3 training sessions, so that will go on their tally. And the boys who go to the senior camp will get an extra 6 sessions added onto their tally, because we actually train while we're on camp. And each of those Thursday or Friday night meets count as a session each as well. And again, if anyone's having difficulty meeting the criteria, all you have to do is come and chat with us. Don't sit there and suffer in silence. As James mentioned before, we are limited to a team of about 100 swimmers, and the AIC organisation hold their breath a bit each year to see how many swimmers we will bring, because we do bring the biggest team. We've culled it down to 100. I think last year we took nearly 140. That included reserves. We've had to change that a little bit. And I should have mentioned before, and actually I'll get to that in a second.
At the current state, we probably have over 250 swimmers that are swimming in our program that we have to cut down to 100. So the job is extremely hard, but this is why one of the things we have the selection criteria, because it does help us select the team. And what we do is those guys who meet the select criteria of the sessions, they get an actual option of whether they want to head out to the championships and watch. And they'll sit up in the grandstand with the cheering team and they'll cheer for the swimmers.
Yeah. So if your son has done all the training sessions that we laid out as the criteria, if he's come to the Friday night meets, then we will select him to go out to Chandler on the day, and if he doesn't get selected in the final team, because he's met the eligibility criteria, we will allow him to come out as part of the cheer squad, sort of as a reward for all the hard work. He'll receive a swimming badge that the boys in the team also receive. But the sad fact is we can't take everybody who meets that selection criteria. That's when it comes down to what's on the slide now. We will choose the fastest team. We do choose some reserves to take as well. But especially in grade 5 and grade 7, where we have so many new boys coming in who are so enthusiastic, we do have a lot of disappointed boys. So we do try to emphasise to them that you can train for 2 terms and through the Christmas holidays and you still may not make the team. And it sounds so cruel, sounds unfair, but it's just how it is, and we can't change that. We can't give them all a swim. There aren't enough swims there to give everyone a go.
I will say this though, there are a fair few people that continue swimming all the way through. Last year there was a boy who's grade 11 this year who got his swim first time ever, and he'd been swimming since grade 5 and he's in grade 11 now. So don't feel like, oh, I haven't made it in grade 5, oh well that's it for swimming. Keep turning up and you'll improve, all right? And that might be your son one day. You might be in grade 7, might be in grade 8, or it could be like this kid in grade 11.
How many kids in each age group do you select?
It depends on the age group. Sometimes I try and go around about 12. So it gives me 4 reserves. And 12 works out to be 100.
What about your AIC prep nights? Do you swim?
Everyone swims.
That night?
Yep.
Yeah, and we like as much as possible for all boys to do every stroke.
Yeah.
Well, they have to do every stroke.
Even if they're the most hopeless butterfly, we still want them to get in there and have a go. Sorry, there was something I was going to say and it's slipped my mind now. It'll come back to me. I'll come back to that. So what's on the screen now tells you roughly how we do select the team. It's basically a 50-metre carnival, 50-metre championship. We do have longer distances thrown in, but there are more 50-metre events than any other. And there are more freestyle events available as well. So those Friday night meets that they come to are so important because it's those times that we go on in selecting the team, as well as the other criteria. Okay, I've already mentioned this one, that I do mark that role, and I really do emphasise if the boys have not come over to me sitting at that table and made sure their name's been ticked off, then they could be missed. James often writes down the names before I get there, but he doesn't always get all the names. That's why I sit there and go through it again. So there's really no reason for the boys not to be getting their sessions marked off if they know that they have to come and make sure they've been ticked off. I generally try to be there between 4:15 and 4:45 because that's as the 3:30 to 4:30 group is finishing and the 4:30 to 6 o'clock group is getting in the water. So I'm trying to catch them in that time. If I'm there earlier and your son's waiting to go in the water, he can always come over and get his name ticked off before he gets in. But if that doesn't happen, we'll get him as he gets out of the water. Any questions about the role? Great. We've gone through that gym timetable. Okay, team clothing. We have a training uniform. There's a t-shirt and a pair of shorts, and we have a new uniform this year. We did have one boy who turned up in the old uniform, hoping to be our model for the night. Would you still like to come out, Darcy? This is our old uniform, which we've had for the past 2 years, but we are rolling out a new one this year. And this is quite a nice one. Is it your training shirt? Yeah. Come out into the spotlight, Darcy. So that's the training shirt and the shorts. That's it. Beautiful, Darcy. Well done. Thank you. Stay there, Darcy. Stay there. Boys who make the AIC team then receive a polo shirt. Now, for the last 2 years, we've had the polo version of this t-shirt, which I think has looked really, really snappy. Is anyone else wearing it? No? We've got another. Jesse's also wearing the training t-shirt up there. Have you got the shorts on as well, Jesse? Oh, come and join Darcy. Come on. We're double models. So we do have a new one coming this year, and I have to say I've still got a lot of stock of the old uniform, which I'm going to sell out at $5 a piece if people want some extra training gear or kick about the house gear. But that's been a popular style, that one. Do a swivel for me, Jessie. Beautiful. Thanks, boys. You can sit back down if you like. We like the boys to have this training uniform, so that they can wear it to training if they want to, or wear it home. But on a Friday, those Thursday and Friday night meets, it looks fantastic when our team turns up all dressed the same. We really do look like a team. You watch some other schools struggle in with the kids dressed in all sorts of mixed uniforms. But when we all come in dressed the same like that, it really does look like a unified team. And we hope that St Peters start to tremble in their boots. This is a bit of a mock-up of our new uniform this year. So on the left is the training kit. So the shorts in both pictures are the same. The t-shirt there would be the version of what the boys just showed out here. And the picture on the right shows the polo shirt that we've chosen for those who do make the AIC team. And the coaches will be wearing that shirt as well. The shirt that James is wearing is the swimming club shirt. And you're wearing a version of the shorts, aren't you? Just the same style.
Yeah, same style.
Yeah. Very comfy shirts.
Very comfy shorts.
I could do something with that, but I won't. Next week, we go through a company called Zoo Clothing. They will be dropping out to us some sample sizes of the shirts and shorts, so they don't have this made up yet, but the sizing will be the same. So we're hoping to size up all the boys next week down by the pool. So they're going to get sick of me telling them to strip off and put this shirt on, put these shorts on, so that we can get accurate sizes for them. So we need to get that order in within a week or two because they have a fairly long turnaround before they're ready to come in. Okay, here are the external trainers. So we have some boys who train with other clubs and with other coaches, and they're more than welcome to continue doing so. And we just ask them to keep a training log going and at the end of the season get that signed off by their coach. And the training log is in the handbook that you will be emailed, but it looks like that. So it's just a case of filling it in. I think it goes down to 60 sessions, but you can just print out another one if you need to do, or you will need to do more than that for some. So that's what that will look like. So that's in the back of the handbook, but I can easily email that to anybody just as a single document if they want it. Any questions about that? Yes, Josh.
So training outfit, do we get that at the same time as the AIC one, or do we get that earlier?
Josh's question is, do they get that training outfit at the same time as the AIC one? Josh, we're trying to make sure we get that training outfit before camp. So you'll have that ready for all of term 1, and then you get that AIC shirt the day before AIC during that last supper on the Sunday.
I'm going to say something about the training logs. I pretty much know all the coaches that people train with, so I will often go up on pool deck to find out how your son is going. So they'll give me a pretty good insight. It actually helps me sort out how they're going and what they can do for us, say on AIC day if they make the team. So those training logs are very important, and you have to get them done.
Okay, just going back to camps, you've probably read that by now. Well, they're not compulsory. They are a great opportunity for the boys to have some team bonding and get to know each other. I think the boys sitting here would agree with me that for many it's the highlight of the swimming season. They do have fun. On the junior camp, we, even though we're staying here at the school overnight, we take them up to Mount Coolum for a day trip and we climb the mountain. The grade 12 swimmers come with us on that camp, and on top of that mountain the grade 12s will talk to the grade 5s and 6s all about that team building and team spirit. I'll do a war cry on the top of the mountain and we walk back down and go to the beach for a swim. We go to Laser Force. They get to sleep in the Year 12 dorms, which not many people get an experience of doing that, and they generally love it. The senior camp's going to Talabudra this year, and I won't divulge just yet what little special things we have in store for you. Last year, and the last 2 years, we've been up to the Sunshine Coast, and they climbed Mount Karura, which is a killer. But as far as watching older boys encourage younger boys who are struggling to get up that mountain,
And coaches.
and watching that, and some of us don't even make it, some of us bail halfway. It's a tough climb, but to watch those senior boys really encourage those younger ones who are really struggling, it's great. And to see the sense of achievement those boys get when they get to the top is fantastic. Last year I was at the bottom of the mountain waiting for them to come back down. You could hear the war cry from the base of the mountain, so that was that was amazing. I even zoomed my camera and I could actually see them up there. But to hear the war cry was it was really good. Spots on the camp are limited. We take 80. Is it 80 on the
Try and
senior
go
camp?
around 70 with some staff.
That's
with-
right. So when the camp details are released, if you want a spot on that camp, you need to get in quickly. To secure your spot, the payment must be made. And we are making some changes to how that payment will be made, but we'll get all those details to you before the end of this term. There will be paperwork to fill out as well. So the paperwork needs to come back and you need to pay for the camp to secure that spot. Any further questions about camp? Yes?
With the camp dates that you've got, 14 and 15, is that like they have to be at school at 9 a.m. on that day?
You'll have a start. Oh, well, there'll be a time. That junior camp usually starts around 9 o'clock. So we really ask everyone to be in about
8:30.
8:30. The senior camp will start at 7 a.m.
And with the junior camp, do they go about flying out North Coast and flying mountains? Is that usually on the Saturday or the Sunday?
Well, this year it's on a Monday and a Tuesday, the camp. So we'll go up there on the first day and then we'll climb it. And we'll usually go to the beach afterwards and then come back and lie down, watch a movie.
Okay, the swimming handbook will look like that when I get it to you. So hopefully next week I'll have that finalised, or by the end of the weekend. That's my aim. I'll finalise it and email it to you. Anytime I do an update on that handbook, if any details change, I will email you another copy. And I call it the same thing, so if you try and save it, it'll save over the top of your previous one. If you have any questions, they are normally covered in that handbook. That's only the cover I've got there, so I can't show you the rest of it. It's about 30 to 40 pages long. We don't print them out anymore. We're trying to save the trees. And not everybody wants a printed copy, but feel free to print it at home if you want to. But there's a wealth of information in that handbook. Everything we've covered here tonight is in there. And any other information you need, I will always email home. And now, question time. That's it for the slides there. If you have any further questions that we haven't covered, we're more than happy to try and answer them for you.
I've got one. In term 1, Wednesday will be a compulsory session for everyone. So Wednesday morning will be 7s to 12s, compulsory in the morning, and then in the afternoon it'll be year 5 and 6. So the guys that are training in other programs, you need to make sure you're there Wednesday afternoons. It is a relay session. So what we're trying to teach the boys is changeovers, making sure that we can get it right on the day, because unfortunately if we false start in one race, we actually won't win AOC this year. That's how tight it will be. So we want to make sure that we tick every box and make sure that all the boys understand how I want them to start and how I want them to finish.
And it's important to know too, at the AIC Championships, the relays are worth double points. So if you get disqualified if you win a relay but then get disqualified, that's 18 points down the drain straight away. And that can be the difference between winning and losing, which was the case a few years ago. So getting the relay technique is really important. Any other questions? Yep.
Lots of questions.
That's okay.
Back to the camp, because we're arriving from overseas on the 14th. Can they come on just one day on the 15th, or is that not possible?
It is possible. It's not the be all. I think we had a year 12 boy fly back from Canada, and I think I drove up and he slept in the car on the way up and climbed Mount Coolum. So it's not the be all and end all. It is an option. Just come and talk to us.
And just one other thing, swimming cap, where do we get those from these days?
You won't have them until term 1 next year.
So we can't buy them anywhere?
You probably could, but this is... Last year I gave out 250 swimming caps, blue swimming caps, Mars caps, and they got ripped by the end of term 4, and I didn't have any left. And I had 250 of them. So this year I'm going to give them out before the ARC meets, so we can all rock up in our team uniform and then have a cap that actually is not broken.
So training, you can wear any cap?
Yeah, you can wear any cap, yeah.
Yep.
When we race, do we have to wear a dirt cap or can we wear our training cap?
No, so the cap that we'll give you for those Friday night meets, that won't be a dome cap. That will just be just a silicone cap. And then AIC, you got to wear the college cap, yeah, which will be a dome cap. Archer?
Do we have to wear at the AIC, do we have to wear those budgie smugglers?
That's a very good question, mate.
Archie's question was, do they have to wear the budgie smugglers at AIC? I'll
No.
let James answer.
No, you don't. Actually, most of the boys wear race togs. There are a few guys that wear the budgie smugglers, but most of them, they either borrow a swimmer's pair of togs that have about 5 or 6 pairs of race togs, or they have their own.
Having said that, some boys like to wear the budgie smugglers. But we are looking at revamping the design, the current design of those. Yes, up the back.
How do you go about accessing that gym program for the boys that are attending? Do we email someone to organise that?
Is that how did the boys access the gym program?
You should come and see me.
Right.
Ben might be a bit different.
Yes.
Can the AIC kids wear jammies on the day?
Yeah. Yeah, they're race togs, yep. Good question though, Pat.
If you have any further questions after tonight, feel free just to drop me an email and I'll answer it as best I can. As I said before, give the handbook a go. A lot of it is in there. Come and see us poolside. I'm down there each day. James obviously is there each day. Don't think that any question is a dumb question. It's not. There's a lot to take in, especially for parents who are new. It's quite overwhelming, all the information you're trying to get your head around. And for those of us who've been doing it for a while, we have to remind ourselves just how hard that is for the first timers. So please don't be afraid to come and ask. Yes?
With the intermediate squad, how many trainings are in total over a week?
You won't have to worry about the total training sessions. It's just the same as that what was on the. So for you, Harry, it would be 50 sessions.
But how many times does intermediate train each week?
8. They got 8 sessions available.
8 sessions available. Okay. Well, if there are no more questions, thank you very much for coming along tonight. I hope it's been of some benefit to you. Great to see the interest that you've shown, and we've actually finished just on time. So have a safe trip home. I don't know if it's raining again out there in this crazy weather. And if you think of any questions now as you're leaving, we'll be hanging around for a few minutes, so please feel free to come down and see us. But thank you very much for coming out. And for those who are new, welcome to Marist Swimming. Hope you have a wonderful 5 or 8 years ahead of you.